All right, we are live. Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm happy to be here with you today and share some beautiful messages and wisdom that's been coming through. So if you are brand new to my world, welcome. I am Hannah Jane. I am the founder of Radiant Goddess Revolution. And what I do is I activate women to step into their power so that they create success in all areas of their lives in the most aligned way that's correct for them. And the way that we do that, a big part of that is working through the wounding, the deep core wounding, the shadow work, the inner work. This is part of the alignment process. I've said it many times and I will continue to say it because this is part of the core of my teaching. And that is that the key to unlocking your abundance is you. And it's you being you, the true, authentic you, all of you. And something that Spirit's been bringing through for me, and it's beautiful, I'm going to share with you the beautiful unfolding of this message. It's been along these lines, and for some reason I wasn't feeling the full moon energy on the full moon. I was feeling it yesterday, and I had pulled some cards from my, let me see, I got it right here, my Work Your Light Oracle deck. Like 2 days ago, and I had them out to share with you. I still have them. And then yesterday I was just doing a lot of my own personal integration. So I have them here to share with you. And simultaneously I had this book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. So powerful if you're looking to heal your relationship with yourself as a woman and really learn how to trust yourself and really step into your power and reclaim all those parts of you. I had been called to pull this book off the shelf a couple of days ago, and it's been sitting on my coffee table like waiting. And this morning, of course, I felt drawn to read it. Hello, whoever's hopping on, welcome. It's not showing me names, but feel free to say hello in the comments so I can say hello back to you. And the way I read books is very intuitive, so I don't read them all at once. Because I like to integrate whatever's coming up. I don't want to just read it and integrate nothing. So I read them, about chapter by chapter, and Spirit will always lead me to whatever book is correct at the time. And so I opened it up. And of course, right where I left off was perfect and in line with the messages from the Work Your Light Oracle that I'm going to share with you. Now, a couple things that I would like to preface this with is I want to let you know what chapter I was on because the numerology is very significant here and Spirit's speaking to me through this. So what I'm getting off the top, this message is likely geared, and now of course if you're clicking on this, there's a message for you here, but likely it's geared towards those of you who are working through any fears and doubts and self-sabotage as it pertains to stepping up to the plate in your life's purpose, in your soul work. It's like this final, in track when it's like at the end, they're just going around that last corner. It's like that last little curve. It's the last leg, you're like almost there. It's like this final integration. So I was on chapter 5. So it's so funny how Spirit drops all these messages in here. And it's called, 5, we're going to talk about the numerology there and tie it in with the tarot. But it's called Hunting, when the heart is a lonely hunter. So what this was speaking to me right away was when you're like, there's something more and I don't know what it is, and you're feeling alone and you're feeling lost, you're like in this transition phase. Like a message came through the other day, I think it was on Instagram, talking about the cocoon phase, right? Like the chrysalis as a butterfly, you're in between worlds and it can feel really lonely and it can feel really scary. And this specific chapter, the story I'm on in it is about the skeleton woman. This is the shadow work, facing the life, death, life, nature of love. And it's about these cycles within ourselves. It's about like what needs to die, what old ways do we need to release, what old mindset, what old paradigm do we need to completely burn in order to get to the other side, right? And I'm getting that many of you are in that. I've been experiencing this in my own way too. And it's so beautiful because it's tying together all the messages that I've been channeling through lately along those lines. A spirit animal I've been connecting with lately is the phoenix. And I love that. I'm a Scorpio, and it's all about that life, death, rebirth cycle. And this is exactly what I'm going to be leading the women through in my mastermind coming up, Desire Queen. We start in August, and I can, at the end of this video, share more with you about that. There's also details in the link in my bio, all the things. Hello, beautiful Kara. She says, hi, Hannah. I needed to hear this today. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you are so welcome. When spirit moves me like this, I know that someone needs to hear it. So I am so beyond honored and excited to be here and share it with you. And this is going to be deep, okay? So just, yes, welcome everyone. And whenever you're catching this live or the replay is just the perfect time. So 5, I really want to share with you, because I read tarot. I don't actually read it a whole lot on Facebook. I might start incorporating that into my work more. But 5s, I want to just explain what these mean to me in the suits. So it's really it's like that stage before you get to perfect balance and harmony. It's that stage before abundance. It's the stage where you are very, like, the victim consciousness is activated in you. So 5 of Swords, for example, swords is the element of air, which represents our thoughts, our mental activity, right? Cerebral energy. And the 5 of Swords is where everyone's fighting with their own opinion, but no one's winning. And then when you move out of the 5 cycle into the 6 of Swords is you're releasing the anxiety. You're releasing the mental turmoil, because you've realized that peace of mind is priceless, right? A message that's been coming through a lot lately in my work is that the passage in the Bible that says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all these things shall be added unto you. Well, what is the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is peace. So what, to me, that Bible verse is speaking directly into is that the vibration through which we access our abundance, our promised land, the place you're trying to go, is through peace. And we can't do that when we're holding on to anxiety. And anxiety shows up for a number of reasons, right? It shows up because of self-doubt, fear, the wounding of the past, all of these mental distortions that we've picked up because of the life experiences we've lived. And maybe as a child, we didn't know how to compartmentalize it. We didn't know how to see the bigger picture, how to integrate it, right? So many of you are being led through healing some of these wounds, this internal conflict we go through. 5 of Pentacles, as Pentacles representing the material realm, right? So for many of you, this is money. This may be resources, things that you can see, taste, touch, feel. 5 of Pentacles is when you're feeling left out in the cold. You're feeling abandoned. You're feeling all alone. Like there's no help. Like things are scarce, right? And I'm a life path 5, by the way. So this is definitely like my life work to lead women through this. And this is what I've had to lead myself through. So 5 of Pentacles is feeling like that not enough vibe, right? Like no matter what you do, it's never enough. And when you break the cycle of the 5 and you move into the 6, that is where you are abundant. Like spirit is flowing through you. You like money is overflow. You're experiencing overflow of money, so much so that you're able to then go and help other people with it in a material way, in a physical way, right? So it's like breaking that cycle. What else? 5 of Cups. So cups, water, emotion. 5 of Cups is when you are you're focusing on the disappointments. You're focusing on the hurt. You're focusing on the pain. You're focusing on what's lost. And you're missing the message. You're missing the gold in it. You're missing the lesson. You're not seeing the love and the divinity and the perfection in it all. And when we learn the lessons from the 5 of Cups, we move into the 6 of Cups, which is, welcome to everyone hopping on, by the way. We move into the 6 of Cups. That's often denoted, I've heard a lot of readers talk about this as like the soulmate, the twin flame union card. But I'm very much of the belief that really it's about the union between the masculine and feminine energies within us, right? Unifying our minds, really stepping into that space of wholeness. And of course, once we do that, then we do typically tend to attract that partner, that love, right? But this can be in any area of your life. It's where you're at total peace and emotional fulfillment and harmony within yourself because you've learned the lessons from the 5. And what else do we have? The last one is 5 of Wands. So 5 of Wands, again, is like fighting so hard. It's like that ego fight and nobody's winning. And sometimes you feel like you're losing your footing. You feel like, am I alone in this battle? Am I ever going to win? But when you learn the lessons, and this is, for me, wands are creativity, it's passion, it's fire. So it's like fighting for this dream you have, like letting your desire be stronger than your fears. And when you keep going, it bumps you to the 6 of Wands, which is the victory. I'm covered in cold chills, so I know someone needed to hear that. So just a little brief breakdown of the messages that were coming through. And this is a long chapter. I cannot read the whole chapter to you, but I'm going to share with you first the cards that came through, and then we're going to tie it together, and I'm going to read you a little passage from this book, from this chapter, the chapter number 5, all about this life, death, life cycle, and see any other messages that want to come through. So the first one that came through was the ever unfolding rose. Cracked open is happening for you, not to you. And then Lemuria, creating heaven on earth, it's happening. So, and this is beautiful too, because, and I hope I say her name correctly, Angard Sage. I'll link her stuff below after. She just did on Instagram a beautiful live 3-part activation the other day, and this is part of the message that came through that she was sharing. So this is like a common theme that Spirit's bringing through. You know, she was explaining in that the way, the portal to the other side, the portal to the abundance you're seeking, to where your heart's been showing you, like you see it, but you're like, how do I get there? How do I close that gap between where I am and where I know I'm being led? And she was explaining that it's through your heart. That's how you access the 5D, right? So we can look at it from going from 3D to 5D. And to me, that is your Lemuria. That's your creating heaven on earth. That is the kingdom, right? Where everything is beautiful and flowing and you're aligned, but it requires us to embody a different version of ourselves. It's requiring us to die into our old identity, the old ways that we've created to keep us safe. We need to break down these barriers we've built up around our heart. And so when we're in this energy, of the 5, of this massive change, things changing literally at a cellular level, it can feel very much like you're on your own. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, how is it, maybe with some of the childhood themes, like, why is this coming up again? Why? And it's coming up for you to really allow yourself to open even more. In this card, in the definition, they talk about how not so long from now, you'll bless the things that broke you because the world needs you open. And the messages that I was intuitively getting from these cards, hello to everyone new hopping on, was that and see how she's surrendered. Hopefully you can see that here. See how she's just surrendered. And the rose, I'm getting like, Magdalene energy. And I think we just had her day a couple of days ago. So there's just a lot of healing happening for the feminine collective. As you surrender and lean back into the not knowing, as you surrender and allow yourself to sit with whatever is coming up, as you're willing to look at what needs to be healed, perhaps the ways you've hurt yourself by living out of integrity with yourself, by self-abandoning because you got the message as a child that being all of you was not okay. As you do that, that's what allows your desires to come through your heart. So what Spirit was showing me is like how you do a quantum leap, how you jump into a new paradigm. It's in your heart. And one thing we need to understand about this is that the desires on your heart are not there by accident. They're placed there by the divine. I believe it's Amanda Francis who teaches this. I think that's where I first heard that. So I would like to, give credit where credit is due. Her work has been really transformational in my life. And so we'll stay stuck often when we doubt our desires. We have these strong desires in our heart and we have the voices in our head saying, well, who are you to want that? Or maybe the times, the pain from the times you've tried to do something and it didn't work and you made it mean something about you and your capability and your worthiness, and you've doubted yourself and you've doubted your ability and you've doubted your desires. And what Spirit wants you to know is that any past failures has just been a matter of your heart being closed. Those dreams are there because they want to be projected out. You know, I teach manifestation, but I don't like the term law of attraction because it implies two things. It implies that one, we're missing something, that we don't have it all within us already. And it implies that there's something outside of us to go get, that we need to manipulate and control it. And with my personal experience and what I've led women through, this is not how it goes. It is all within you. And it's a matter of expressing it outwards, right? So when we have all these walls built up around our heart, we're not letting our dreams out. It's kind of like, and this has to do with trust and vulnerability and being willing to sit with the uncomfortable, the maybe not so beautiful parts of ourselves, the parts that we've rejected. And that's part of the passage I'm going to read from the book for you. So I'm excited to tie it all together. But it's doing that shadow work. It's being willing to call back all the fragments of you, you know, from all the trauma, from all the abuse, from all the letdowns, from all the disappointments. Because the dreams can't be properly projected out of us when we have all these walls up, right? So the heart is the portal, just like, I really don't know how to say her name. I think it's Angrid Sage. I'm going to tag her so those of you who want to check out her work can, because I just found her the other day, literally, and then I attended, it was divine timing, because then I attended her masterclass workshop thing, and it was beyond incredible. And she was talking about how the heart is the portal, and it was beautifully in line with everything Spirit's been telling me as well. And so a lot of this is healing the heart, but understanding that you're not lacking anything. It's all within you. And I say this all the time, you contain the codes for everything. You're an infinite being. There's nothing outside of you. You're not separate. So a lot of this is unifying the mind, right? Dissolving all of the distorted beliefs that the ego has that tell us we're separate, that we're alone, that success is for everyone except for us, right? Those are lies. And those distortions, those beliefs in separation are exactly what keep you anchored in the 3D, in your current paradigm. Is when you're wanting to expand beyond that, when you're wanting to get to your promised land, to your kingdom, to the place that your heart has been clearly showing you, you need to get behind that, which means you need to release the old ways. And it's interesting because, you know, you think, well, of course I want to release these hurts, these traumas, these small ways, the ways I don't feel worthy, but we cling to them. And what's really coming through is that it's a lot of inner child healing, right? A lot of us, this is the wounding from when we were very young. And you know it's there, but there's a part of you that still believes that it's something about you, right? So when we're children, this is a lot of the work I lead women through too, right? Like this inner child healing, because when we're children, we can't understand that perhaps our parents were wrong, right? Because that would feel very unsafe to us. We're dependent, we're vulnerable, we're dependent on our parents. And when, you know, it could be something as little as you were singing or running in the house and your parent had a headache and said, shut up, you're so loud, and you never sang again, right? It could be something like that. Or, you know, maybe you're like me who experienced systematic abuse every day of your life, and you were like, you know, something in you, you know, obviously you think something's wrong with me. I'm worthy of being punished. I'm not worthy. I'm not good. There must be something bad within me, right? It could be so seemingly small or so obvious, but whatever it is, it's wanting to be seen and integrated. And when there's a part of us that's believing that there's something wrong with us, or that the world doesn't want our message, or that we don't have anything to offer, or we're not worthy of charging for our services, or whatever it is, you know, I'm getting really strongly this people tuning into this is about soul work, but apply this to wherever in your life this applies. You know, it could be love, it could be health, it could be anything. When we're believing that, we're handing our power away, and we're not actually allowing our hearts to be open to project what it is we actually want to experience. There's a verse in the Bible that says, above all else, guard your heart, because out of it come the problems of life. And what that really means is not like some doom and gloom thing, but it's explaining, again, this message that it's through our heart what we allow ourselves to express, that we will experience in our outer reality. So when you're wanting to create heaven on earth, it requires being vulnerable. It requires healing. It requires really opening that heart space so that the dreams on your heart can flow out. Abundance is not something you attract. It's not even something you have to create. It's within you. It's a matter of unleashing it. It's a matter of unlocking it. And this is why I always say that the key to unlocking your abundance is to be you, to be all of you. Let me know how this is landing, how this is resonating, by the way, guys. And I'm going to see this whole chapter. Oh my gosh, if you have access to this book, or I don't know, maybe you can find it online, chapter 5. This whole chapter is life-changing, my loves. And they're talking about, I'm not going to, I can't possibly summarize everything they're talking about. I'm going to read a passage. But basically what happens is this fisherman, he's out at night and he catches something, and he doesn't realize that it's not a fish. He realizes it's a skeleton woman, right? So it's like creepy, scary, doesn't want to look at it, right? This is kind of, it's called The Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's a wonderful book. It's Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype. This book has been so transformational for me. And it's really pertaining to these parts of ourselves or shadows that we don't want to look at. I'll link it below, guys. It's Women Who Run with the Wolves. I'll link it below for you after this live. I'll link everything so you can have it. And I'm at the part in this chapter where he was willing to sit with her. Whereas most men, and this is like our masculine side, right? That wants to be so strong, that wants to push and do things, that's not willing to sit and rest and be healed, right? This is that dance between our masculine and feminine. This is that unity, unifying our mind, unifying our masculine and feminine energies within us. And he takes the time to look at her, to just sit with her, to not speak, to just look at her, to be willing to see the things that most people run from, the things most people are afraid of or don't want to look at because they don't look pretty. They look like, oh, scary, this part of me that I don't want to look at. And then he falls asleep, and when he falls asleep, he cries. And she goes and drinks the tears, and it brings her back to life. And she's this beautiful woman. I'm covered in cold chills. And what this is talking about, there was so much through this chapter that is just so profound. You know, they're talking about the purification of tears, how they're healing. They're talking about how, you know, as women, we want men, all we want is for them to like feel their pain that they haven't integrated, right? And that's what makes them an incredible lover. And how when a man's, or the masculine energy, is willing to be there and own all parts, both are transformed, right? You step into this sense of wholeness, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to read a little passage out of this until it feels complete for those of you who want to stick around, and then I'm going to see if any other messages want to come through. Okay, and there's so much in here. They're talking about some Greek mythology. There's a lot in this chapter. I highly recommend to read this. Anyway, it says, when the man cries the tear, he has come upon his pain, and he knows it when he touches it. He sees how his life has been lived protectively because of his wound. He sees what of life he has missed because of it. He sees how he hamstrings his love for life, for himself, and for another. In fairy tales, tears change people. Tears remind them of what is important, and it saves their very souls. Only a hardness of heart inhibits weeping and union. There's a saying I translated from the Sufi long ago, a prayer really, asking God to break one's heart. Just like in this, it said, it's happening to you. Let yourself be cracked open, right? A prayer asking God to break one's heart. Shatter my heart so a new room can be created for a limitless love, for that 5D reality, for your new paradigm, for your Lemuria, your heaven on earth, right? It flows from your heart. We need to step aside and allow it. The internal feeling of tenderness that moves the fisherman to untangle skeleton woman also allows him to feel other forgotten longings, to resurrect his self-compassion. Because he is in a state of innocence, that is, thinking all things are possible, right? Believing in your heaven on earth, understanding that with spirit in the 5D, everything's possible for you. He is unafraid to say his soul desires, ready to claim the desires on your heart that you have been suppressing. He is unafraid to wish, for he believes his need will be met. It is a great relief for him to believe his soul will be fulfilled. When the fisherman cries his true feeling, the reunion with the life, death, life, nature is furthered. The fisherman's tears draw skeleton woman to him, causes her to thirst, causes her to desire further participation with him. As in fairy tales, tears call things to us. They correct things, provide the missing part or piece. Okay, and there's so much more this chapter, guys. I literally was like blown away by this chapter, and I'm excited to finish reading it. But what the message, just to wrap this up, what Spirit's saying is that, you know, it's time to get in touch with what is it that you know in your heart you are here to experience. And what pain, what skeleton have you not been looking at? Because all that wants is to be seen, to be held, to be sat with, to be integrated, to be loved, to be accepted. Stop abandoning yourself. And when we feel blocked, when we feel like I have these desires, but I'm stuck, I don't know how to get there, it's always pointing us back to more inner work. What walls need to be broken down, what needs to be seen, what needs to be reclaimed, what needs to be integrated. Because as you do that, as you surrender to your dreams, your desires, you surrender to your heart, you surrender to your infinite, limitless self, you surrender to God, to spirit, to the universe, you trust, you let go. You allow yourself to kind of jump off that proverbial cliff and be okay being in the unknown, because you understand that you can't get to where you want to be with your logic, because your logic only understands where you've been. It's a whole death to self to experience a quantum shift like this, to create a new reality. And like I said in the beginning, Spirit was showing me like it's the last leg of the race. It's like this last final integration. And many of you may feel like you're going backwards. Many of you may feel like, why? I'm just going in circles with the healing, but that's actually not the case. It's like these things that are calling for to be looked at and really healed and integrated so that you can fully be free and open. So just again, reminding you that abundance is not something you create in the outer. It's not something you attract. It's something that's within you waiting to be unlocked. So it's the inner work that's going to get you every time. So my loves, thank you for joining me. It's been wonderful to relay these messages to you. I would love to hear how these resonate. And if this is speaking to you, if you know that this is the work your soul's asking you to do, and if you would like support, I would love to learn how I can support you. Okay, the link is in my bio for all the different ways to work with me. I have different one-on-one mentoring options. I've just opened up a semi-private mentoring, so that's a new offering. And I have, you're so welcome. You are so welcome. Thank you for joining. And I'm leading my beautiful mastermind, Desire Queen. We're starting in August. It's still on pre-sale early bird right now. If you want to hop in with that, there's a payment plan. But this is the work we're doing. We are going to be collapsing your current paradigm and really creating this heaven on earth for you. This is where you unapologetically claim your desires. This is where you step into your power. This is where you get out of your own way and allow yourself to become the version of you that receives it all. Because receiving it all requires a very different version of you. So this is what I'm going to be leading the women through in that. It is on pre-sale right now for $1,777. It's going up to $2,222. On the 1st, there's a payment plan for this if you want to lock in the early pricing. And there's also, I've added an upgrade option if you want messaging support. So for those of you who are really ready, or like, let's collapse time, let's do this, there's that option too. All right, my loves. I will link everything below. Once I hop off this live, I'll link the book so you can get your hands on that if you would like. I'll link the info for the mastermind, working with me privately, all the things. Thank you for sharing your beautiful energy with me. I am sending you lots of love from my heart to yours, and I will meet with you again soon. Bye.